Duit everyone! Today we're going to be talking about Wanted, the first in the Wanted series by Amanda Lance. Sit back, relax and get comfortable, and let's take a look at Stockholm Syndrome at its finest. So, what's it all about? Well, Wanted is about 17-year-old Addie, who is on the return trip with her father after dropping her brother off while he gets ready to go on his latest deployment to Afghanistan. While stopped at a gas station, Addie goes to get some coffee while her dad is pumping gas. And while she's there, she hears a strange noise out the back, and like a fool, goes to investigate it. Those noises turn out to be gunshots, and suddenly Addie finds herself as the witness to a crime. And then she finds herself bundled into the back of an SUV because she's been kidnapped for witnessing said crime. She is brought by a group of men to a far-off house somewhere, and while there, she gets to know the personalities of her kidnappers, one of which is Charlie, who happens to be the guy that actually picked her up and shoved her in the SUV. Charlie is your stereotypical, scary-looking criminal. He's got a giant snake tattoo, he smokes too much, and he says a lot more with his angry eyes than he does with his mouth. However, while some of the other kidnappers would probably rather put a bullet in Addie's head, Charlie promises that he won't let anything happen to her. It doesn't take long after that for Wanted to reveal its true form, the story of a girl who falls in love with the man who snatches her off the street. So now that we've got that out of the way, and I've made sure all windows and doors are securely locked, let's get to thoughts. I don't really have any complaints about writing style for this one. The characters are all pretty real. They're all quite intelligently written. They're funny, they're scary, they make you sad, they make you happy. There's a wide range of them. It's actually really good. The only one thing that I will say in writing style complaint is the way the book was laid out. Sometimes it was hard to tell who was talking and who had finished talking. It was just a little bit confusing. So, plot thoughts. While I was skimming through Amazon looking for something to read, I came across a list of free books because I had just searched YA and then thought whatever comes up I'll have a look at. And when I saw this and I saw the cover and read the premise of what it was about, I actually honestly thought that it would be a book that would be filled with a lot of sex, the same kind of books that Penelope Douglas writes. But amazingly enough, I was extremely pleasantly surprised. There is none of that in this. The book moves pretty quickly right from the start. At first you're introduced to Addie and her family. You find out their family dynamics, the fact that her mother has died, that her brother is going away for the second time to war, and her father doesn't really want him to go. And after that, maybe like a chapter later, it all kicks off, and she is kidnapped straight away. Even meeting Charlie and all the other boys, and Addie establishing her relationship, or her kidnapper versus kidnappee relationship with Charlie, moves along quite well, and you're kept interested in it. And the plot line, the way the plot thickens after you have been introduced to them and you think you're going to get a conclusion straight away, it's actually super good. Obviously, I don't want to tell you what happens because it will spoil it for you if you want to read it, but it starts off pretty decent. It actually continues pretty decently for a good while too. I try to keep an open mind about this and not think in terms of what is realistic because I have never been kidnapped and I've never fallen in love with my kidnapper, so I don't know how that would feel. Some of it is a little bit far-fetched towards the end, but you kind of just have to go with it and see what happens. There are two major things that I did not like about this book though. The first one is how quickly Charlie and Addie fall in love. It's really fast to the point where it's not really that believable. And the author does try to back up that point that it is believable later in the book, but it still kind of wasn't having it. The second part I think is the most important and probably why I was really like, ugh, when they fell in love so quickly. Addie is 17. That is obvious. I know she's meant to be mature for her age, but she's still 17. However, Charlie, I was under the impression was maybe 2021, given that the protagonist of the book is so young, but he's actually 29. It's not even legal, so it's extra disturbing. After I found that out, that Charles was so old, not old, but a lot older than she is, I couldn't fight for their love. I couldn't be happy that they were in love. I was just more like, ugh, this is weird. No. It really, even just a couple of years younger, or if she had been made like 19, then it wouldn't have been so bad, but it was just disturbing. Whether I'm going to continue on with the series or not, I'm actually not sure. I have read the back of the next one, and it talks about Addie having to combat Charles's jealousies and things, and I'm not sure that I want to read that book, because I just kind of think, like, is it going to be another author trying to justify and make sexy a morally wrong and emotionally abusive relationship, or controlling one? And God knows we have enough of those, Twilight, 50 Shades of Grey. So I'm not sure what I'll do. I think I'd rather just read the synopsis of what happens instead of actually buying the book. However, I've never heard of this book before, so if you have and you have read it, please let me know what you think. And if you try it out, please let me know what you think. I don't know if I'm going to recommend it, just because on terms of the age thing, just kind of, I mean, no. And I'm only 24 and I still think that's weird, so yeah. Anyway, that's up to everyone to morally decide themselves. Except it's not, because it's not legal. But whatever. The age is just a number, crap doesn't fly here. Anyway, thank you very much, and I'll talk to you next time. Salon!